Hello everyone, my name is Xun Huang and I'm from Concordia University. In this video, I will present our work on the analysis and development of an XAI process on feature contribution explanation. First, I will briefly introduce the concept of XAI. For the application of the AI model, especially in the critical area, different stakeholders of the model are concerned about various aspects. Questions have been asked, such as how do I get this prediction? Can I trust this prediction, etc. Here I quote from IBM's definition of XAI. XAI is a set of processes and methods that helps AI users to understand prediction, identify potential issues such as bias, characterize model accuracy and fairness, and even review the underlying mechanism of the model. Next is our motivation of the project. During our study on the XAI, many XAI researchers proposed many XAI methods generating different explanations. While there is no research on the general process of the XAI project, we intended to provide such a process to help XAI practitioners identify the clear XAI goal, select the appropriate XAI method, and evaluate the selected methods. It takes work to define a general process that covers all the goals and methods. Hence, in this project, we focus on the process definition for feature contribution explanation. For that, we define the following research questions. The first question is, what is the basis for the process development to cover the combination of different XAI goals and methods? We identify three major parts: the XAI goal, the selection of the XAI method, and the evaluation of the selected method. The second question is for defining the XAI process, especially for feature contribution explanation. Then the third question is for defining the evaluation metrics for feature contribution explanation. We'll get into the details in the following slides. We now look at the first research question for the XAI goal. We summarize the following XAI criteria and goals from the current study. The first criterion is that we study the underlying mechanism of the model. It matches the goal of model transparency. The second criterion is that we study the input and output relation of the model. It matches the goal of feature influence and feature causality. The last criterion is that we identify the issues of the model. It contains the goal of fairness and bias, privacy awareness, transferability, and trustworthiness. In this paper, we only focus on the goal of feature influence. Related questions such as how important is a feature? Which feature is the most important one? Can we remove a feature from the learning process if it is less significant? And next, I will introduce our summarized taxonomy of the XAI method. This is important for XAI method selection. We start from the root node. The XAI methods are split into two classes: the post hoc explanation and built interpretable model. The post hoc methods means we study the inside of the trained model. The built interpretable model means that the structure of the model can readily provide what has been learned. Under the post hoc explanation, we further summarize two categories: model-specific and model-agnostic methods. The model-specific method means we can only use those methods on the specific model as they leverage from the structure of the model. The model-agnostic method means we treat the model as a black box by focusing on the relationship between input features and the output prediction. Under the model agnostic method, there are three categories: explaining by feature importance, explaining by visualization, explaining by simplification. Some methods can provide feature contribution explanation, indicating the feature's importance. Some methods can provide visual explanations that help users to comprehend the model's behavior. Some methods can explain the model by training a simple interpretable model, which approximates the prediction of the original model. The blue background categories and the bold line indicate our selection path for feature contribution explanation for all the case studies. More XAI methods can be added to the taxonomy. And now we talk about the process development. This answers our research question 2. This is our develop process. First, we select the XAI method that we are interested from the taxonomy. And then we can do configuration, customization, and even incremental improvement on the selected method. At the same time, we define our evaluation metrics. The following activities are data processing and the execution of the method. After we get the raw explanation, we should generalize the raw explanation to a unified summary because we need to compare all different forms of explanation on the same page. And then we could decide if we found the best XAI method for this project. If not, we will do another round of the process. Next, I will talk about the metrics definition to address our research question 3. Different methods generate different forms of explanations. To evaluate them with the same metric, we need to derive a unified explanation summary. And then we define our first metric, explanation stability. This metric evaluates if an XAI method can generate similar explanations. Suppose we have m number of datasets. We can derive m explanation summaries generated by the same XAI method. We also have the distance function, which can measure the distance between any two summaries. We calculate the explanation stability with the following equation. For each pair of summary combinations, we calculate their distance and take the mean value of those distances. The smaller the value is, the more stable a method can generate the feature contribution explanation. The second metric is called explanation consistency. This metric evaluates if the selected method can generate similar explanations. Suppose we have explanation summaries from the XAI method I and also explanation summary from the other n-1 XAI methods and also the distance function. And then we calculate the explanation consistency of other methods to method I by the following equation. We calculate the summary distance between method I and other methods and take the mean value of those distances. The smaller the value is, the more consistent a method can generate the feature contribution explanation compared with other methods. And next, I will introduce the case study we used to demonstrate the usage of our defined XAI process. The first case study is that we want to know the feature influence of a model called S2 search. The model ranks the given paper's metadata according to the query string. It was developed by AI and used on the Semantic Scholar website. The input paper features are abstract, title, venue, authors, year, and the number of citations. And then the model predicts the ranking score of each paper. In this case, we select accumulated local effects method, Shapley value method, sharp method, and anchor method. This is how we derive the explanation summary for the case. We execute the XAI method on dataset 1 and get the raw explanation, and then we aggregate the raw explanation to feature contribution values. We sort those values and derive the feature importance order as the explanation summary. For instance, we have derived the contribution value like this, and then we derive the feature importance order. To measure the distance between two orders, we use the candle-tail distance as the distance function. And then we can have all explanation summaries for 4 methods as shown in Table 1. We calculate the distance within a method, and after we find the most stable method, we calculate the distance between this method and other methods. For instance, we found that the ALE method is the most stable one, and then we compare it with the other 3 methods. This is the evaluation result of case study 1. We used the violin plot to present the distance values. Figure 7 shows the summary distance within a method. The green line indicates the mean value, and then we know that ALE method is the most stable one. Figure 8 shows the consistency between the ALE method and the other 3 methods. Then we know that Shapley value method is closer to ALE method. The second case study is a classification model using the NLP technique on code vulnerability dataset. The model takes a source code file and predicts the probability of every code vulnerable type. In this case, we have the predict method, mean centroid predict method, Shapley value method, and sharp method. The mean centroid predict method was developed by our team, which we improved from the predict method. This table shows all explanation summaries. And since we only have 2 datasets here, we didn't use the violin plot. We can observe that Shapley value and sharp methods are more stable than predict and mean centroid predict methods. And in the second dataset, the explanation of predict and mean centroid predict are inconsistent with sharp and Shapley value method. The last case study is an image classification problem on the ImageNet 1000 dataset with the ResNet 50 model. In this case, we select 6 CAM-based method. CAM stands for Class Activation Map, a simple technique to get the saliency map used by CNN models. For each saliency map explanation, we calculate the prediction change between the original image and the masked image as the explanation summary. Hence, the summary distance between 2 images can be simply the absolute difference. Figure 11 shows that the masked image is generated by multiplying the original image and the saliency map. This is the evaluation result of 6 CAM-based method. Figure 12 shows that Grad-CAM EW method is the most stable method compared with other 5. Figure 13 shows the consistency between other CAM methods and the Grad-CAM EW method. It shows that Grad-CAM++ is more close to the Grad-CAM EW method. Finally, we conclude our contribution. First, we summarize the XAI criterion and goals from the existing works. Also, we construct a taxonomy to help XAI practitioners to select XAI methods for specific goals. And then we develop the XAI process for feature contribution explanation and further define the stability and consistency metrics. Lastly, we provide free case studies to demonstrate the usage of the process. That's all for the presentation. Thank you.